All right, hi guys. Today I'm gonna go over the breakdown of the current circulating supply. So when I say breakdown, I mean how many coins are in the ecosystem, how many coins belong to contributors and communities, which that one you might already know if you've been following along and doing research, and how many coins were allocated to funds and institutional investors. So before we get into that, I just want to give you guys a little color if you haven't been keeping up with Reddit and YouTube and Twitter regarding the circulating supply. So one Redditor found that the circulating supply of Jasmy was not only wrong, but he actually found the amount that Jasmy is reporting. So if you look at CoinMarketCap, it's showing a circulating supply of 4.75 billion, which everyone knows to be wrong at this point. So he found out that if you put your cursor over this blue circle with the check, it shows you the self-reported supply. So Jasmy themselves is reporting this. And now I know you might say, well, why is there two numbers? Which one should we trust? I mean, at the end of the day, would you trust the project or would you trust CoinMarketCap? I honestly would trust Jasmy over CoinMarketCap about Jasmy's own supply. They would know better about their own project. So another reason why I would trust Jasmy is because CoinMarketCap says that there's 19,000 cryptos. That's a lot of work for CoinMarketCap to keep up with. So it would make sense, for the individual project to report their own number back to CoinMarketCap as opposed to CoinMarketCap having to hunt everyone down for the right number. So the next thing I wanted to go over is this article on Jasmy's Medium page. As you can see, it was written in October of last year. And this was around the time Jasmy was pumping big time. And, there's so much hype around it. And I want to just go over the token distribution really quickly. So the token distribution says that 48% of the coins are in the ecosystem, 27% go to funds and institutional investors, 20% to contributors and communities, and then 5% are the incentive coins for the management team. So one beautiful thing about this particular article is that it shows you the wallets where everything started, right? So everything started in the deployer and then it broke out into these wallets. So now this is pretty helpful because this is going to help us determine the specific breakdown of the circulating supply. And when I say circulating supply, again, I'm not talking about the 4.7 billion. I'm talking about the 30.8 billion. So let's just, take a look. So I'm going to copy this. I made an Excel okay, there we go. So I'm just going to paste all of these wallets in. And full disclosure, the reason why I'm pretty confident in my findings is because I'm an accountant. I used to be an accountant, and we were taught to think about things in patterns and stuff like that. So just getting back to the main thing now. So the contributors and communities, right? It says here that there's no wallet, right? And why is that? These allocations were already distributed. So we don't need to worry about any coins because they're all already in the circulating supply. They're already 10 billion of the tokens make up the 30.8 billion, right? So 1/3 of the current circulating supply is all of that. And it seems like that's what, the 10 billion, they're never going to be removed from circulation. So, they're in there forever. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to put an NA. And then the last thing is the incentive. And I'm sure you guys, if you've been keeping up or just looking at Etherscan, the incentive might be, and this wallet might be known to you as the deployer wallet. But before we even get into that, I just want to work with this table at the top, or this data at the top. So the reported circulating supply is 30.8 billion. So let's key that in. And then what would the remaining supply be? Obviously, the 50 billion minus the 30.8 billion. So that's 19.2 billion. So what I'm going to show you is the coins, the remaining supply, where those wallets are. So naturally, if I show you the wallets that are not currently circulating, that means everything else is circulating, right? Because you can only be one or the other. You're either in or you're out. That's it. So I'm going to quickly just now come back down here. And I know that the ecosystem is 24.1 billion tokens. I know that the funds and institutional investors make up 13.5 billion, but I don't know which wallet, how much of the 13.5 billion is split across each wallet. Like it's not a 50-50 split, for example. So now I also know that the contributors and communities is 20% of the 50 billion supply. So 20% of 50 billion is 10 billion. And then the incentive is about 5%, but they say it's 2.4 billion. So I'm just going to key that in. So it's technically 4.8, but they rounded up to 5. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look for the funds and institutional investors. And now this is, let's say, a little more tricky, but it's a small step that we have to take, and it makes sense. So if you don't understand this step, just, don't go any further. So what I'm doing here is I copied and pasted the wallet into the address, and then I'm looking at the ERC20 token transactions, and I'm going to click view all because I want to see everything that's been going on. And as you can see, there's some other coins in here. I'm guessing Jasmy is trying to work on building their own blockchain, and they might want these coins as part of it, or it's part of the bridge that they're building, or something else. But I'm sure there's a good reason for that. But let's focus on the main task at hand. So I see a transaction that says that there's tokens in. Not only that, they're Jasmy, right? So the rest of these are outbound transfers. This is an inbound transfer. So I know when I was practicing this video, my copy and paste did not work. So I want to see if it'll actually work this time. Yeah, of course not. Great. Okay, so I'm just going to have to key this in. So 1256878 537. And I'm going to just leave the decimal out because, it's only 0.23. It's not the end of the world. So now one thing that we know about the funds and institutional investors, their allocation makes up 27%, right? 27%. So 27% of 50 billion is 13.5 billion. So naturally, if these two make up the 13.5 billion, the only way I can get this wallet's number is by subtracting 13.5 billion from the 1.256 billion. So what we're going to do here is 13.5 billion. Okay, so this is what we get. And I'm just going to paste values. Okay, so now you see that these this formula populated. So this is going to help us later, and this will actually show us the breakdown. So next, what we want to do is we want to look at Etherscan. So let's go to Etherscan. Oh, and just a quick thing. The reason why this 1.256 billion is right, I want to make sure that I go over this step. So the reason why I copied and pasted this is the only inbound transaction for Jasmy. As you can see here, these are all outbound, right? And then none of these are relevant because they're not even Jasmy. So now let's go to the first page, and look, these don't matter, right? Because they're not Jasmy. These are Jasmy transactions. They're all outbound. This is another outbound. And then I believe there's nothing else. Yeah. So we know that wallet only ever had this many tokens. So that's why I copied and pasted it. So it means this wallet will only have this amount of tokens as well. So that's why I copied and pasted it. And then if you look down here, it says that the sum is 13.5 billion. And in case if it's too small, because I am sharing my screen, just to make sure, look at that, 13.5 billion. So Let's move on to the next step, and that is to get Jasmy from, I'm going to export the Jasmy holders from Etherscan. So this is going to show us all 26,629 holders whenever it loads. Okay, cool. So I'm going to export everything into Excel, and it says limited to the first 100,000 holders. It's no problem because Jasmy only has 26,600 holders so far. I hope one day we can hit 100K. Hope those are all the boats. If not, then I'm a robot. Okay, great. All right. And I know some of you may not want to even see this video today because given just what's been going on in the markets, but I do think if crypto's here to stay, this is one of the few projects of the altcoins that has a shot of making it. So I'm heavily invested in this coin. I love the project. I love the people behind the project. I love the community. But you know, things can unfortunately happen. So I'm gonna just take this pending balance update is not a focal point. It doesn't matter for anything. That's only if like you transfer something and then the transfer is pending. So there'd be a pending balance. So I'm just gonna take these two. What's going on here? Here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna copy and paste them, and I'm gonna bring them into this tab. That's Etherscan YouTube, because I'm obviously making this for you guys. And I'm just gonna get rid of this because I don't want to see it anymore. Okay, so just really quickly add some commas because we're dealing with pretty big numbers. Okay, so what I'm gonna show you here is the tokens that are not in circulation. Remember, our goal is to add up to 19.2 billion tokens, right? Because if 30.8 billion are in circulating supply, then 19.2 billion are not in the circulating supply at this moment in time. And those two numbers together get you your 50 billion. So what we're going to do here now is, again, we're going to determine the coins that are not in circulating supply. And just to give you a little background, I might have said it, I've done many takes of this video, but I might have said it, forgotten it in this one. So I used to be an accountant, and you know, like we used to do all this pattern detection and stuff like that. And one obvious thing to look for are round numbers, large round numbers. So, you know, one initial suspect, if I was just looking at this data, is this first wallet, right? It says 9 billion. However, you know, just from being a Jasmy investor, I know that this 9 billion belongs to Binance, right? And then the next one is the 2.4 billion. This 2.4 billion, we obviously know is the deployer wallet. And this is the deployer wallet holds the incentives, right? The incentives are the last thing that will be cashed out. So they're still in the circulating, they're not in the circulating supply at this time. They are not in the circulating supply. So I'm just going to paste in this allocation column. I'm trying to correspond with these. So my job will be to just classify the coins that are not in circulation. And, you know, I'm going to label them accordingly. And I'll show you how I figured this out. So this one was pretty easy. Like we know that it's the incentive wallet, right? Like we don't even have to debate that. But remember what I said about large round numbers? So I'm going to highlight this one, and I'm going to highlight these, right? We have all these 500 million token wallets, 400 million. And we know from previous experience over the past couple months that those are the wallets where the quote unquote dumping was taking place. So I took all of these 300 million, 400 million, 500 million wallets. And I know there's a 200 million, there's a 100 million, and I know those are big numbers. They're pretty big numbers, but I just want to stick with these because I want to see first I'm going to sort by color. Okay. So now what this did was it put all the yellows on top. And then I'm just going to filter by color just because I want to get rid of everything underneath. If this thing loads. Okay, cool. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a formula in on the summary tab. And just really quickly, just to show you, I'm going to highlight all these, right? If you see the bottom, it says the sum is 19.2 billion. So I actually skipped a step. Oops. So I'm just going to go back and undo that. So now I have all the tokens. I just sorted by yellow. So my yellow cells are up top. So I'm going to put in a formula first. Let's call it SUMIF. So this is going to tally everything based on a condition. Oh wait, sorry. This is wrong. We want to do subtotal. So this is going to tally everything here. Okay, so it's showing 50 billion, right? And it's tallying based on what's available in this entire column. So there's all 50 billion tokens are still there. Now when I filter, just filter by color, here we go. So apologies for my my laptop being quite slow. So I filtered by color, right? So I removed everything that I didn't highlight. So it should be the 19.2 billion. And look at that. The formula changed. So I know that this is correct. So I didn't, I'm not doing any sort of mental gymnastics to, fool you or anything like that. These are the true numbers. So that's good. We found the 19.2 billion. And I know you can make the argument for the fact that we saw a $200 million wallet and a $100 million wallet, or 100 million token wallet, and those technically add up to 300, and they could be swapped out for one of the 300 million token wallets, but those two are in circulation. I know for a fact that these are not in circulation. All of these are not in circulation. How I know that is because a lot of them had minimal activity as well, where when they were creating these wallets, they basically just said, okay, we're going to create a wallet and it's going to have 500 million tokens. We're going to create another wallet that has 400 million. And then they just leave it there. So like what they'll do sometimes is they'll transfer one token in to see if it works, the transfer works, and then they'll transfer the rest because, it'd be pretty damaging if you transferred a 500 million tokens to a wallet and you realize you fat fingered one of the keys in the address and it ends up going to somebody else. Like that person could be incredibly rich, right? Could you imagine getting 500 million Jasmy at 36 cents? But anyway, so I'm going to take a look at this wallet now. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy and paste it into the address bar. I'm going to take a look. Now I'm going to look at the ERC20 transactions. And I'm going to go to the very end. Oh, this is the very end. Okay. Oh, this is the one. Sorry. This is what I need to do. Okay. Okay. So as you can see, there's very limited amount of activity in here, but the activity is pretty big. So I'm not concerned with these because as you can see, there's an out and there's two outs that add up to 400 million and there's two ins that add up to 400 million. Those will cancel each other out. But what we're really concerned with here is this 800 million, right? Because that's the balance, 800 million Jasmy. And look at that, 800 million, and these two cancel out. So it leaves you with 800 million. So I want to look at this wallet. And I'm just going to look at the address, right? In this case, I know it to be this 0x1028,788. So remember that 0x1028,788. 0x1028,788, right? And then the last three end with 8D8. So I'll just check that, and it's 8D8. So that's good. We know this to be the funds and institutional investors wallet, right? So this originally came from this institutional investors wallet, and now I'm pasting it twice just for consistency's sake. It's going to matter for the next couple of examples that I'm going to show you, because the wallets were broken up on two levels, like where, you know, for instance, I think for a couple of the 500 million token wallets, they broke them up into 1 billion token wallets and then took that 1 billion and split them into two 500 million Jasmy token wallets. So that's why it matters, and that's why you see a wallet 2 and a wallet 1. So this was in the funds and institutional investors wallet, so I'm going to label it. I'm just going to copy and paste it because I don't want to type it, as funds and institutional investors. All right, so now let's go to this next wallet. And it stinks that copying and pasting isn't really working right now, but you know, no matter. I'm just going to show you a couple of these examples just so you understand what's going on. And now I pasted the wallet into the search bar. And now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to look for Jasmy. Okay, so I see this wallet, right? And there's only one bit of activity, right? So if there's only been one bit of activity, it's like, you know, it's definitely dormant, right? It's waiting to be used. It's just common sense, right? Like why would, it's not in circulation because they're not doing anything with this wallet right now. So let's look at, I'm just going to open in a new tab. I'm just going to exit this really quickly because I don't want to look at it. And I apologize for my computer being slow right now. I guess it's got stage fright or something, knowing that this is my first YouTube video ever. So I'm joking. But anyway, so now I'm interested in this wallet, this 0x4BCC. So I'm going to click in a new tab. Actually, first I'm going to copy and paste this. Let's see if this will actually work. Oh, it didn't work. No, it copied and pasted the old one. So dumb. That wouldn't work. Oh, it worked. Okay, nice. Okay, so I have that as my first wallet because the reason why I put that in wallet 1 of this column is because we are in this wallet now, right? Where I highlighted in yellow. Then before that, all of those tokens were in this wallet that I highlighted in orange, right? And now before that, they were in this green wallet. So I'm just showing the natural progression of things. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just open this wallet in a new tab. Okay, so now as you can see here, 1, there's 0 Jasmy, which is good. Now 2, there's a lot of transfers in and out. So I'm going to just click this really quickly. Okay, that actually didn't do anything. So we're going to look at ERC20 transactions, right? Look at all this. It's all outbound transactions, right? And I forgot to click view all, so we want to look at the entire history. So there's only 2 pages, which isn't that bad, right? Like, and this is from 120 days ago, but everything you see is all outbound transactions, right? So now what we're going to do here is, oh, look at that. We have some inbound. So we have this in and outbound, but if you look at the values, right, they cancel out, right? Because 46,465 is the same as 46,465, and they're both in and out, right? So those don't matter. However, we have this 1 and then we have this 24.009 billion, right? And if you add them together, they make 24.1 billion tokens. And the reason why I know that, these are the only tokens that were placed in there is because everything else was outbound. And then this 24.1 billion is, sorry, the balance was 0 on it. Yeah, so just clicking back into it, you can see that the balance is 0 right over here. So you know that everything that was in this wallet was out. But that doesn't mean, and one thing that I want to show you is just remember 0x4 BCC69. Look at that, 0x4 BCC69. And then the last 3 of the wallet end in 822, just to be sure, they end in 822. So everything from this wallet was removed. However, that doesn't mean they're all, and this represents the ecosystem. That doesn't mean all of the tokens were in the ecosystem, right? Because they split everything off into other wallets. But this is the parent wallet of all of these other coins. So what I'm going to do for this wallet, that we're still on this example. I know that was, a little complicated, but so just to reiterate everything, the 500 million are in this token, this wallet now, right? But before that, they were here in this wallet. And before that, they were in the ecosystem wallet. Okay? So I pasted that as wallet 2 because that was, that was the previous step. That was the previous stage way back in, 4 months ago. But I'm also going to call that the origin wallet. So I pasted it here. And we said those wallets, that this 0x4 BCC69, based on the Medium article and what we copied and pasted, this is the ecosystem, right? Ecosystem wallet. So I'm just going to key in ecosystem. Okay, so now if you don't understand that, it's okay. I'm going to do another step. I wanted to do this. I'll do it another time, but so I'll do 2 more examples, and then I'll show you what the whole thing looks like filled out. And remember, you can challenge me on any of this. I welcome the spirited debate because I went through this pretty thoroughly, and I've done a few takes of this video where the sound quality did not come in. So I'm a pro at this point. So we're looking at the next wallet on the list. So look here, only 2 transactions, right? One transfer in for 1 coin just to see if Jasmy got the right wallet in, and then another one for the rest of the amount that they wanted to transfer in, right, to make the 500 million. So I'm going to look into this wallet, and I'm just going to exit this really quickly because that's an old window. Okay, so as you can see, there's 0 Jasmy in there. That's good. That means everything was taken out. And look here. They initially transferred 1 billion tokens, and then they transferred out 499 or 500 million to 2 different wallets, right? So now I want to look at the wallet where these tokens were before it got to this 0x65. But before I do that, I want to copy and paste this because this is going to be labeled as my wallet 1. And I hope this works. It didn't work, not this time. Why not, man? Get me out of here. Anyway. Let's try one last time. Actually, let's see if this will work. There we go. Nice. Okay. So now this is my wallet 1. So again, the coins are in this wallet now, the one that I'm highlighting in yellow. Before that, they were in this one, the one that I'm highlighting in orange. And then they're going to end up in this next wallet that I click into. So I'm just going to open in a new tab so I don't lose anything that I did before. And by now you should know 0x4 BCC69 is, look at that, 0x4 BCC69, and we labeled it as the ecosystem, right? So just to check one more time so we're not going crazy, I'm going to go to the last, if we look here, right, it's all these outbound transactions of Jasmy. Let's look at the next page. All of these outbound transactions for Jasmy. So when we see an inbound, and if we only see, right, so we see the 24.1 billion, and we see this inbound. However, this inbound is immediately canceled out by this. And then this 24.1 billion, since there's zero Jasmy, this 24.1 billion is canceled out by the remainder of the outbound transactions, right? So that's why there's zero Jasmy. So, so this is the this was an ecosystem wallet as well. So I'm just going to copy and paste this because they did come from the same wallet. And then the origin wallet, again, would be this BCC69. Or 0x4 BCC69. Oof. Long day. So it's an ecosystem wallet. And I know you'll probably get sick of me after this, but this will be the last example I'll do. And then I'll show you what the whole thing looks like populated. And let's just get into this last one now. So pasting it at the top of the address bar, or search bar, excuse me. And we're going to look at token. We're going to click Jasmy. And now we only see two transactions, right? The one to verify that this was in fact the right wallet, so Jasmy didn't make a mistake, and then another to actually send in the right amount that they wanted. So I want to see this wallet, so I'm going to open a new tab. Okay, so we see that this wallet had held, sorry, let me just paste it. It didn't work, of course. Yeah, why? It always does this. Man. Okay, well, I have to key this in. Oh, maybe that's why. I don't think it was. There we go. Okay, there we go. Nice. So everything is currently in this wallet here, right? 0xb 0x0b, excuse me, 1d604, right? And then everything moved into this wallet, this 0x2 782. Oh, orange. Here we go. And then everything moved into, before that, look at that, 0x4 BCC69. So I don't need to, I don't think I need to go through this again. But, just for the sake of, have you guys having another example, I'll just do it for the sake of doing it. I apologize for making this video long, but I feel like there's been a lot of things that were kind of hidden from us as Jasmy investors. And in order to uncover all these things, sometimes they do take time. So that's why I'm going through this at length, because the next time they release tokens, I don't think it'll be for a little bit, but the next time they release tokens on a significant scale, we'll know. So, and we can do it through these types of like tactics and tricks. So again, this is the 0x4 BCC69 wallet, right? So all of these are outbound transactions. All of these are outbound transactions, and I apologize for going fast. I know I'm scrolling very quickly, but and then here, there's some more outbounds. There's an inbound that's immediately canceled out by an outbound. And then we have our 24.1 billion. So we know that this is the ecosystem wallet. So this ends up being our wallet 2, right? Because everything started in this 0x4BCC69, and then everything moved to the 0x2872, and now everything is in this 0x0B wallet. So I'm just going to copy and paste this down. So this is an ecosystem wallet, right? Because we know that based on the Medium article, and we did the math, and we did the Etherscan digging to check as well. These things, this is the ecosystem wallet, right? So what we have to do here now is I'm going to take the work that I did previously without all the colors and stuff like that, and I'm going to just copy and paste it down. I guess I should take this too. So this is my data output from when I was doing this on my own. Obviously we don't want to sit here and do 39 wallets. So, and I removed the colors, so it's good. And you guys, if anybody actually wants this, they can message me, and I'll be happy to email it to you. And I'm happy to walk anybody through it. I really like the Jasmy community a lot. So, I'm happy to always talk about Jasmy and its potential prospects for, dominating Japan in the world. So, I'm all game to talk about all of this stuff. I'm super passionate about it. So, okay. So now we have all of our wallets, right? So we have our ecosystem wallets. And oddly enough, when I was doing this, every single wallet of the 500, the 400, and the 300 million tokens were all ecosystem wallets. So the only ones that were not were these first two, out of the ones that are not in the circulating supply, just so we're clear. So what we want to do now is we want to determine the amount of coins in each category or each allocation, right? These four that are not in circulation. So we're going to do that with a formula called SUMIF. So what this does is it tells us we want to look at this column, and we want to see, based on this criteria here, it's going to tell us to find all of the ecosystem coins, and then it's just going to add them up. And I know some of you have corporate jobs, some of you don't, and Excel might be entirely new for you, and that's why I'm explaining this as simply as possible. So, if you're sick of hearing my voice, I'm sorry, but I'm doing this for the person. I'm assuming everybody's going into this knowing nothing. So, okay, so now in Excel, you can drag formulas down. So basically what it's going to do is it's going to pull from this funds and institutional investors, and then this one here is also going to pull from the funds and institutional investors. But I have to do something about specific for these two, and I'll explain it in a moment. And then contributors and communities. We didn't label a single thing as contributors and communities. So none of them are in circulation. And we also don't have a wallet for them because all of them are already in circulation, right? So this is correct, but what we have a problem with here is we basically double counted because there's two funds and institutional investors wallets. And I believe this is the right one that has, was it this one? Yeah, that's correct. Okay. So I deleted this one just because it's double counted. So there's no real point in looking at it at this time. So what you need to know is so this is showing us 16 million of the ecosystem tokens are not in circulation, right? So if we look here, we were looking for the coins that were not in circulation, right? So if we look at all these ecosystem ones, they're all ecosystem the whole way down. So I'm just going to highlight, just to be sure. I'm just going to highlight all the way down. If you look at the bottom of my screen, it says 16 billion tokens, not million, billion with a B, right? And they're all ecosystem. So look at that. They're all ecosystem. So these are the coins that are not in circulation. So what would that mean, right? Let's just look at the basic math. This formula populated, right? It's showing the total coins based on Etherscan, or, you can say coins based on Jasmy too, minus the coins not in circulation would give you the coins in circulation. So 8.1 billion tokens that are in circulation are part of Jasmy's ecosystem. Okay? So now if we look here, we have, out of the coins that are not in circulation, we have only one that's classified to the fund. Oh, sorry. Let's expand this out. Funds and institutional investors, right? Only one, because all these other ones down here were ecosystem tokens. So there's only one that's funds and institutional investors, and it's only 800 million. So out of the 800 million, out of the 13.5 billion tokens, only 800 million tokens that are not in circulation are for funds and institutional investors. So that means out of the ones that are in circulation, we have 12.7 billion of these tokens were given to funds and institutional investors. So now this actually presents something interesting where this, to me, if they were able to raise 12.7 billion tokens worth of money, that's pretty good. Because Jasmy said in there, there's this one-page graphic that's in blue that shows like the exchanges, the coin breakdown, and all this other stuff that I'm sure you've seen before. And it shows like their partners, like Sony Vaio, like Panasonic, etc. So this basically shows us that they've given out a lot of these tokens, right? So this, to me, I'm hoping if they're smart businessmen, this means that they raised a lot of money up to this point. And them raising a lot of money is super important, especially right now when in the corporate world, like obviously the stock market tanked massively today. And, venture capital funding is very low right now. Like nobody's giving out money to investors. Nobody wants to, because it's so risky. Like the risk of failure is so high. But because Jasmy already locked this money up, this is like, they can weather this storm. I'm not going to say it's absolute that they'll weather this storm, but they have a good chance because they have this money. So that's really good. And I know, I'm sure people were hoping that the ecosystem number was higher of the tokens, but look, here's what they're going to do. In the next phase, they're probably going to put out another 8 billion, and then they're going to put out the remaining 8 billion, and that's how you get, roughly speaking, that's how you get to your 24.1 billion. So that's probably what they're going to do. And that's fine. If they had this planned all along, and they're just able to get through what could happen in the markets and the global economy, things might be fine. So now, contributors and communities. As I've said 1,000 times, and I'm sure you're sick of hearing it, all of these tokens are already in circulation, right? So we don't have to worry about them. They're already in there. And then we know the deployer, or the incentive wallet, right, that I'm highlighting here. This deployer wallet is showing that none of these coins are in circulation, which makes sense, right? Because they're in the deployer wallet, and the deployer wallet is not in circulation. So, so there's going to be 0 tokens there. And those, I'm hoping if Jasmy plays it right, they're not going to cash those things out until the very end. And for them, it makes sense because their incentive is, hence the, incentive, the name incentive, their incentive is to grow this thing massively. And if they do hit like, $5, $10, $15, then, Hara and Kazumasa Sato and all of them can leave this thing as billionaires. And like you look at the founder of Ripple and Cardano, they're massively wealthy. So that's the point of all of this. So when you think that they're trying to screw you over and this and that, it's like when they do that, they're also screwing themselves over, right? So they want this thing to grow probably more than we do, right? Like they have a lot at stake too. So they want this 2.4 billion, these 2.4 billion tokens they want them to be worth a lot. And also they're going to have to pay people along the way. Like they're going to have to pay the other folks who are on Jasmy's web page as management, and they'll probably have to pay some other people underneath them. I do think they have a lot of people working for them, and they probably have to pay some of the companies that they might be partnering with on a very, very close level. So that's so don't worry about that. Like I do believe they're trying their best. The incentives are in place to do so. And now one other thing I wanted to show you is this I kind of went over aloud. So as you can see, 1/3 of the tokens, this is saying percentage in circulation. That's what it's saying. That's the abbreviation I had. So this is saying that like about 1/3 of the tokens that were given to the ecosystem, 33% of that is in circulation. And now for this one, I have to do a little bit of math. I have to add these two since there's two wallets, but it'll give us the same reading. So 94%, right? So 94% of the tokens that were meant to be given to funds and institutional investors were already given out. So that means they already got investors lined up. That's really good because you need to get through this difficult time, and like you might have to hoard cash. They might have to take a break from the project if something goes wrong, or but there might also be a time when business is bad if we're in a recession where they might be able to get away with paying less for things just because some companies will be willing to take a lower cost, or some software developers and engineers might be willing to take less money just to work because they were recently laid off from a job. So like all of this money that they're getting from investors and stuff like that it's good that they got that now. And these investors, normally when you invest, and I don't know if this is the case with Jasmy, but there's usually some sort of lockup period where they'll make the institutional investors and funds hold the coins for maybe 5 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, something like that, because they have a lot of tokens, right? If they just started trading all of these tokens, like they would royally screw up the market. Like if they just sold today, then our price would have dropped. But they're not allowed to do that. They probably have a contract behind that because they want to see this thing do well too, because they've invested a lot of money. So just as how we can be rich from this, so can they. And so should they actually, because they made a big investment in Jasmy. So now this shows us that all 100% are already in the circulating supply, right? They've told us that. I've said it a few times. And then, let's just copy and paste it down. 0% of the incentive is in circulating supply. You know that already, right? Because everything's in the deployer. And then last but not least, this shows us that 61.6% of the total tokens in circulation have already been released. So I don't think I have anything else, but if you have any questions, feedback, if you want me to send you this spreadsheet, feel free to message me, give me your email, and I'll do that. But thank you for watching this video. I apologize for being so long, but I wanted to make sure that nothing got left out, and I wanted to make sure everything that I was doing was shown clearly, because I did tweet this and I didn't get that much recognition where I expected people to call me out on it. But I'm like, look, I got the proof. I showed you what I did. If you guys really want me to show you all, 39 wallets that I did this for, 39 wallets, I would do it. I'll do it on a live stream if you really want and you want to sit with me. But you can also, I can send you this and you can verify it. So thank you so much for watching this video. HODL, everything will be all right. Just, if you can buy the dip, but don't lose sight of the long term. If you think crypto is going to be around for a long time, you think a project like Jasmy is as good as you thought it was a few months ago, not much has changed for Jasmy, right? It's just a different economic climate. And I know that could be enough to for Jasmy and other coins, other publicly traded companies, other startups to go out of business, but I think they have a good chance of survival because they also have the management track record of success. So if anybody is going to give them money if they needed it, they will be towards the first in line, right? Because you want entrepreneurs who were previously successful. And after Kunitake Ando left Sony, he worked on 4 other startups. So you want somebody who's been there before and done it, even if they're the people that you're gonna trust. So I'm happy to send this to you guys. Again, thank you for watching and have a good night.